Good afternoon, everybody. Or whenever you see this, I don't know when you're going to see this, but hola, saludos a todos. Bienvenidos to the PGP podcast. Hey, Josh Tobar, proud principal of Memorial Pathway Academy in Garland, IZ, Garland, USA, in North Texas. Where's Garland? North Texas. That's where we're at. Hey, thank you for being here. Thank you very much for spending some of your time with us. It's very important. It's crucial that you interact with us, part of this podcast. If you're seeing it later on YouTube or any of the other social medias, interact, leave a comment, because you know what? Success breeds success. And we have some awesome members of this panel that's part of our, Dr. Moreno, I don't have it. I thought I had it. Today, round table number 3, but we'll get into that in a little bit, making sure. Hey, and in the future, if you bring something to the table, which all of us do, whether it be a novice or whether it be 30-something years in experience, you can be part of this show. Reach out to us because you know what, Dr. Moreno, who have we had? We've had bus drivers, clerks, cafeteria workers, assistant principals, superintendents. We've had everybody because we all need to learn from each other, and we need you, part of this voice that is education, because we're in the best profession, the profession that creates all the other professions, public education. So we're ready to rock and roll. Am I ready? I'm ready. How about you, Dr. Moreno? Are you ready?
Oh my God, Josh. Yes, I am so ready. I missed you last time because I was so busy doing important stuff out at the border. So I'm now back in the seat with my spiders and everything back in Houston, Texas. And I am so glad to be here. And guess what? I did not miss the first one. I didn't miss the second one. So I'm definitely not going to miss the third one of these amazing educators who contributed to an amazing book. So I'm super glad to be here. And I want to learn more about these educators.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. And you know what? We go into our next part. Our next part is our Chinchilagua moment. Hey, you know what? Maybe over there in Colorado, Jen might not know, or in Boston might not know Chinchilagua. What is that? All right. Chinchilagua is a special game played by Mexicans in northern Mexico. That's why it's a PGP podcast, puras ganas, Hispanic tone. And what we do is when we get all our gente, our familias together, we know we have big familias, and we line up against the wall, we line up against the tree, and we say, Chinchilagua y arriba, boy! And you run, and you kick your cousin, and you jump on top of them. And then the next one goes, and then the next one goes, and everyone's laughing. Ah, ha, 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 ha. It's all fun and games until someone gets hurt. So everyone's having fun until someone gets hurt, and then your grandma comes out with a belt and hits you. No. We don't do that anymore. All right. So today, you know, every single last podcast that I hear, Dr. Moreno, every article that we hear in Edutopia, the majority has all, especially after Rona, has been relationships. The 3 R's, relationships. And even before Rona, we heard from that beautiful woman, Miss Pierce, the TED Talk about building relationships with your kids. If you haven't seen it, you're probably a novice and you're alt cert. But if you've been in the system, you know you've seen that TED Talk. And it's going into this week. You know, we just started semester number 2, and the hardest part in education is November, December, when everyone's at each other's throat, and in March, right before state testing. Mm-hmm. So be proactive. And, oh, I have a good relationship with my kids. Oh, yeah. No, not everybody does. Not everybody does. So do those things. Dr. Moreno, I know you've been in 10,000 PD sessions like I have. You took a lot of courses, and everyone always, every once in a while, takes out that research that says teachers that greet their kids at the door, those kids do better than in other classes. So just start off with simple stuff like that. But don't be superficial. That's the problem. The problem is good, okay, hi. Sure, that's okay in August. That's okay in September. But if you want to avoid discipline problems in February and March, you have to be beyond superficial. Mm-hmm. You have to stop with a good and okay. Because right now, you know, before the show, we're talking about, look at all these beautiful children in California and what they're facing. We forgot about Hawaii and Maui. Look at those kids, what they're facing. What about the hurricanes that happened a couple of months ago hit H-Town? It hit H-Town and it went over there to the Carolinas. A lot of people don't have places to go and they need that extra time. And you know what? They will not content with you until you connect with them as people. And you cannot connect with a kid, especially going through issues, being superficial with good. Okay, hi, ¿cómo estás? Yeah, that's good. Again in August. But you know what? We need to go above to make sure we provide that Linus blanket, that comfort zone for our kids in our classroom, in the hallways, in the bloodstream of our campus, making sure we have positive culture. What do you think about that, Dr. Moreno?
Oh my goodness, Josh. You know, when you talk about culture and you talk about relationships, it just tingles. My whole body just tingles because I'm super excited that you mentioned that. It is important for our educators. And you know what, Josh? It's not even about, welcoming. We have some really amazing fun things, a little fist bump, a little high five, acknowledging. Yeah, just something. So our kids are people, they are human beings, and they want to be acknowledged. So even when they walk by and they have a new jacket or a new pair of glasses, it's like, hey, notice what they're bringing to the table, because that means so much. Because kids will say, man, miss, you didn't know that, or you noticed that my new glasses or something. I mean, they always pick that up. And so when they know that, oh my God, that relationship between you and that teacher just increase. Exactly. So I'm super excited that you mentioned that, and being authentic. But when you talk to kids and you highlight some of the things that they're bringing in, they notice and they know that's authentic. Can't hear you.
Hello, I should have learned something from COVID and all those Zooms. And a little plug to what you were saying. Kevin Curtis's book right here. I read it before it came out. I got my copy. It's a great book that talks about that, but strategies on how to build relationships. He does an awesome job, and it tells you I'm not going to spend time with that, but step 1, step 2, step 3 on how to do it. Because some people are cavemen like me, and they don't. And it's okay to have a blueprint. Hey, whenever I plug something, trust me, I get no money. I just know that it's good stuff that you in Iowa, that you in Nebraska, that you in Colorado can use. So check out Kevin Curtis's book about building relationships. It's an awesome thing. And on a flashback, Grow Your Why number 3, I suggest that you go back to episode 25 and 26, where we had our first panels of Grow Your Why Roundtable number 1 and Roundtable number 2. So check us out. Episode 25 and 26 on YouTube. Like it and share it. Put the little bell so you could hear upcoming shows. We need you. Share this. But most importantly, Grow Your Why panel number 3. Here they come. Ahí vienen. Déjenlas traigo a la pantalla. Let me bring them to the screen with those awesome smiles. And most importantly, their beautiful heart panel. Thank you for being here. Thank you for showing the love. But most importantly, thank you for your beautiful words in this awesome book by Ms. Barbara Bray. So before we get started, there we go. Before we get started, I'd like for you to please, we're going to start off with Erica the way I'm seeing on the screen. I'm going to start off with you. Please tell us who you are, what roles you served, and which one has been your favorite. Who you are, what roles you served in education, and which one has been your favorite. Erica, go.
That's like picking my favorite child. Okay, well, welcome, everybody. Thanks for having me. I'm so grateful. Erica Sandstrom, I'm better known as Green Screen Gal. It's a thing. And on education, I've been teaching 33 years. I started off in Kansas City, Missouri, even though I live in Boston, teaching grades 4 and 5. And then I taught 6th grade in St. Louis for 2 years, all subjects. And then I taught 3rd grade. But then this thing called the internet and computers were invented, literally when I was in my 10th year of teaching. So I just got obsessed and then moved up to the Higgins Middle School in Peabody, Massachusetts. And I've been there since 2004, teaching 6th, 7th, and 8th grade digital media. And now I'm a coach as well as a teacher. My favorite, I don't know, I have to always go back to 3rd grade. There's something about 8-year-olds, 8 to 9. They're just adorable, and they get their sense of humor. They start to get your jokes about halfway through the year, and it's just hysterical. I absolutely love them.
Thank you for teaching me that. I've never heard someone say 3rd grade. It's perfect. Love it. Thank you for sharing. Appreciate you. Let's go, Keisha.
Hey, my name is Keisha McDonald, and I live and work in Kailua Kona, Hawaii. So I work with the Hawaii Department of Education. I have been a part-time teacher, a substitute teacher, a teen health for seventh grade teacher, a test coordinator, a curriculum coordinator, a student support services coordinator, a resource teacher for Title III, which is multilingual learners and families. And I'm currently a resource teacher at the complex area for social emotional learning. So I work with 19 different schools, and I work largely with teachers and principals and things like that. Now, less so the kids at the kid level, but yeah, so I've done a little bit of a lot.
Perfect. Thank you. Which one do you like?
I'm going to say my current role. I'm going to say my current role because it's a topic that is near and dear to my heart. And I love reaching out to other adults to also embrace everything SEL.
Thank you for sharing. Appreciate you out in sunny Hawaii. Jen, talk to us.
Hi there. I'm Jennifer Klein. I have been in education for about 30 years. Started at the university level when I was doing a master's in creative writing and literature. Never thought I was going to go into education, actually, and then found myself in Costa Rica just after getting my master's. And it was the job to get, right? I mean, it was an easy way to find employment outside the US. So I taught high school, 10th grade there. I was a curriculum coordinator for a little while for an international school, came back to the Denver area where I had gone to high school. And I should clarify, I'm a product of alternative ed, which is kind of cool, right? So early public alternative is what I did here in the Denver area. But I came back to Denver, taught high school, 9th grade English and creative writing for about 11 years. Left that to do a bunch of different kinds of roles outside the classroom with different organizations, global education organizations, mostly helping to build partnerships. Wrote my first book on global partnerships during that period. And then I accepted a job as a head of school outside of Bogota in Colombia, which was a mind-blowing experience. Not the one that I'm going to list as my favorite. Definitely. Interesting experience, growth experience, but hard. Came back to the US. I wrote another book, The Landscape Model of Learning, which was published in 2022. And I'm currently just consulting, supporting educators all over the place, including Austin, Texas, and working with leaders. And my third book will be out in August on educational leaders around the world who are facing resistance to practices they believe matter to learners. And how they're facing that resistance, whatever form it takes. So it's been a fascinating journey to learn about all these incredible leaders and the things they're doing to make sure that they can do right by kids without losing their jobs. Ideally. Yeah.
Jennifer, educators resisting? No. Are you lying? Is that new?
Yeah. Yeah.
Some educators resist helping kids with their changing their pedagogy. Oh my God.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I think you might be lying, man.
Yeah. From inside the schoolhouse, from outside the schoolhouse, at the political level, at the religious and cultural level, so many things we want to do.
Politics and education? No. I don't know.
Yeah.
Your nose is growing, young lady. You know,
yeah, right.
this podcast is about truth, all right? I'm just saying, I'm putting it out there. Melissa, talk to us.
I'm Melissa Hayes. My voice is horrible, so I apologize. I'm from Ohio. I've taught 26 years, but I'm pretty rare breed. I've only taught second grade, and I absolutely love it and don't want to ever change a different grade. So I'm very low key compared to your other guests.
No, you're not, because you make your classroom international for all the things you do for those second graders. You stop that. You're amazing.
Hey, Melissa, thank you for charging on. You told me like, oh, Josh, do you want me on there? Hey, whatever you got, it's great. Because, you're part of this family, this Grow Your Wife family. Just before we get started on question number 2, hand it over. Big shout out to Barbara Bray in the house here through YouTube. Barbara, hola, saludos. And to the mother of us all, part of the Fantastic Four, Doc McKeever Cheever. Thank you very much for being part of the show. Remember, put out those questions. We've got Dr. Harvey's here. He reached out some love. and Gulab. Hello, Gulab. So welcome to the show. Thank you for interacting with us. It's very important. Principal Cafele, Jefe, thank you for being here today. Appreciate you joining us on the podcast, the anchor show of the PGP podcast with Coach Hurt at 10 o'clock, Shika Houston, Tammy Taylor at 10:30, and Jefe rounding off Super Saturday at 10:55. Check out the show from the Milken Awards. Stick, Dr. Moreno.
Awesome. Oh my goodness. I'm super excited just hearing your stories and where your background is. And I think it's important before we start off the show any further that we tell everybody out there who or what motivated you to enter the field of education. And we're going to start off with Keisha.
Well, I think I'm the funny way to start. My chapter is actually all about, I don't have that traditional story of, I had a Mrs. Robinson or a Mr. Smith in my life. I was that person who just said, I will never be a teacher. I could never possibly ever be a teacher. And I did join teaching in my late 40s. So I was a late comer to the game. So for me, I was a single mom and I had just moved back to the United States after living in Africa for 20 years. And so I lived in Lesotho, Zimbabwe, and South Africa. And I was earning $9 an hour working at a retail store. And someone said, hey, if you have a bachelor's degree, you can become a substitute teacher. So for me, it was kind of a necessity thing. I needed to meet my kids with their schedules and figure it out. And, if you read my chapter, you'll just see it has really turned out to be the biggest, greatest blessing of my life. I love it. I'm passionate about it. I said I would never, ever. And here I'm evering like I could never, ever. So I kind of joined the profession out of need, but it is absolutely, it's challenging. It's pushed me. I feel like I've become a better person, which I realize sounds super cheesy. But I love the profession. I love being in it. And my kids are now through school. I don't need to meet their schedules any longer, but I will stay and I just keep going. So that's how I got into teaching, just kind of by accident.
Your kids are probably loving you, right? Because isn't it great just to see those light bulbs turn on once you're with the teachers, with the kids long enough, right? So awesome. That's so cool. I'm so glad you found your passion. Jennifer, how about you?
So I already mentioned that I hit mine by accident very much. I wasn't necessarily imagining myself to be a teacher and educator. And I don't have educators in my family necessarily or anything like that. But as a writer, it wasn't clear to me how I was going to make a living. So when I moved to Central America, and it was, you don't just sit around and write and somebody gives you money for it, So I found this job, and what was extraordinary for me, and the reason that I was inspired into it really came from, I wasn't inspired initially, but that happened within a couple months of getting into the classroom, this recognition. I had grown up seeing myself very much as a cynical idealist, somebody who hoped for the best, but never really expected it to happen. And because I had seen something about a darkness to human experience really, really young. And I was always like hypersensitive to other people's pain and difficulty and things like that. Injustices just destroyed me. And this is very much what the chapter is about, is going into my first high school classroom and seeing this opportunity to impact young people in a positive way, to help them become agents of change who could transform their communities rather than just live with what didn't work and what wasn't serving everyone. And it really was a huge, it's connected too to having had a former president's kiddo in my classroom and suddenly realizing, and it wasn't about him in particular, I don't think. In the end, I think it was just that realization, like, these young people are going to go on to do amazing things, and I can actually, have an impact. And so I shifted my thinking and my terminology, and now I call myself a broken-hearted optimist. Sometimes the world breaks my heart, but I will continue to channel all the optimism I possibly can into better education and to good experiences for kids and for educators.
Can you share what president?
Oh yeah, it was Oscar Arias's son. So Oscar Arias was the Nobel Prize winning Costa Rican president who brought Central America together around human rights abuses to end those human rights abuses, or to try
Wow.
to anyway. And his kid was in my classroom, and it turned out he wasn't the only president's kid or former president's kid.
Uh-huh,
I had the
uh-huh.
Minister of Education's nephew, and it was a pretty high
Wow.
powered international education, context. And I stayed, I've done a lot of work in public as well. And I definitely I'm able to sleep nights knowing that I've offered myself to both the private and the public sector. And that those kids they're going to make a difference. All of them can.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. What a cool story. Thank you. Thank you for sharing, Melissa.
I was the whole song and dance. I always wanted to be a teacher. I think part of me wanted a change. I liked elementary school, but I'm not book smarts. I can't look at something and I didn't get straight A's. I didn't care for school in high school. I didn't like school in middle school. I was all about the sports. But in my senior year, well, actually in elementary school, I had this amazing teacher, which is in the book, and it's entitled Spark. And she was the one teacher that let us get up and move. We had the archaic desks. They were in the rows. We couldn't get up. The teacher was the powerhouse, and we sat there, and it was a sit and get the whole time. This teacher introduced me to collaboration and bringing the outside in. And she was just amazing. And I love to talk, but when I get in instances where I don't know people, I'm very passive, which is a lot people don't know about me. But from then on, I knew I wanted to be a teacher. And in the book, it talked about how, I had to get title reading. Like I said, I'm not this intelligent person. It was really hard for me. And then in college, it was hard for me. But once I hit those teaching classes, it was a breeze. So once you get me around kids, it's my spark lit up. And then the bumps along the way that just kind of hit at a certain point, one being that I had breast cancer. And I remember taking like 3 months off. But at that time, I had Flipgrid. So I was actually in the room. The kids were seeing me every single day. I knew what was going on. I connected with the parents, even though I wasn't there. So I don't know. I don't think I would be happy if I had any other profession than this. It just is so fulfilling and fills my bucket every single day. So
It sounds like it just you speaking, right? I mean, you can really tell that you're very passionate. So, kudos to you. And I'm so glad you found your passion. And congratulations on your chapter. I mean, this is amazing. Yeah. Erica, how about you? Who or what motivated you to enter the field of education?
Gosh, these stories are awesome.
I know.
I know who to call to plan my Costa Rica trip, and I know who to call to get me motivated to keep teaching middle school. Thank you, Melissa, for your heart and sharing.
Yeah.
For me, I think I was born with teacheritis. I mean, I'm a Leo. I have ADHD. I'm very good at it, and I just out of the gate, and it's in my chapter 2, I was taking over my sister's birthday parties, where I would have a second plan in the backyard where mom was in the front yard, and mine were good. They had prizes and everything. And it was just a natural thing. And then I became a camp counselor, and I don't know, I loved teaching. I loved the Leo stage, but but also my heart was in it because how excited people would get, and then my creativity could just blossom. But and people always said you should be a teacher. And at my young age of 55, we didn't have a lot of these choices. Right now I'm teaching kids how to become videographers and all these things.
That's awesome.
I know. But the real thing, which is not as positive a story, is I had a really bad teacher in high school. I didn't find out I was graduating and walking with my class until 2 hours before. Took this advanced writing class. I have a sister who's 10 years older than me, who was a perfect writer. She always compared me to her. It was just like a horrible experience for an advanced class that I guess I shouldn't be in. I still think to this day I can't write, even though I write articles all the time. But
Wrote a book.
yeah, but I actually knew I wanted to be a teacher, but I said, you know what? I want to be a teacher so that never happens to another student again. It actually motivated me in a different way. So it's not always the good ones. It's sometimes you're like, so we need good teachers out there. So let's get into this profession.
Well,
But
I'm so glad you brought that up because you're right. It's about sometimes the experience that
Yeah.
we see as a child, right? And how we say, I want to be better than that, right? I can do better than that. And so I'm so excited that you did that.
it was
And what grade
traumatizing.
was this? What grade was this teacher? And what did you say high school?
Senior year, and
Oh my
I almost didn't
God.
graduate. Literally, had so much stress, and it was terrible on my whole family, just the way it happened. So I ended
Yeah.
up walking with my class, and we had to go to the school board and all kinds of things because she wanted to fail me. And so it was just, but that experience really did fuel me, and I'm grateful for it. I'm grateful for that time because it has helped me to be a much better teacher and remember that
Mhm.
whenever I have my grumpy days, I remember that moment. Like, I'm not going to make this child feel terrible, and it's not personal.
Yeah, exactly. You took the words right out of my mouth,
It's
right?
not
Because
personal. That's my advice to teachers. It's not personal, it's
they'll
no,
make it personal. The minute you do that, that's it. It's over. So
it is. It
awesome.
is. So,
Thank you so much, ladies. Thank you so much for sharing. Josh?
So, Erica, what you're saying is there probably some senior teachers out there that threaten seniors to not graduate?
yeah.
No. That
Traumatized
happens in
kids.
education?
I know.
No.
I know. And they give us a bad name.
Oh my Lord. I just barely found out about that. Thank you for sharing that, Erica. Appreciate that.
You must have a story there. So
And I don't know. I'm just saying. Okay, so we
No
all
quiere
know.
decir.
Trust me, there's a lot of skeletons and I don't keep them buried. All right. We all are united. You know what? I would have never met Hawaii, Colorado, Boston. Melissa, where are you at? Ohio?
Ohio.
Okay. Yeah, I would have never met. We were all bonded with this one young lady right here. That right there. That beautiful lady that when you talk to her, you just melt. She talks to you and she goes, when she does the I'm like, yes, ma'am. I usually you if you know what I'm talking about. You've heard her podcast and everything. You know that Barbara always talks about what is your why. Now, we've had different whys. For me, I can speak only for myself. My why as a novice is different than my why as a 32-year-old administrator. We've evolved over time. So please tell the audience, Keisha, what is your current why right now?
I think there's just a sense, again, for a while, my kids were in our schools. And so part of my why was revolving around that. And now that I'm in a different phase of life, I think just looking at our school system, looking at the durable skills, because whether we're preparing those kids for college, community, or career, how integral, how foundational, how important it is. And a huge part of my why right now is teachers, because teachers are just amazing, hardworking. It is a difficult profession. It is like a beautiful disaster. It is hard. It is grating. It can take you to your knees, and yet it is beautiful. It's rewarding. It's, charming. So right now, to be honest, I think when I look at my colleagues and friends and the people that I know want to keep going in this profession, a lot of my why does have to do with my colleagues and peers versus, obviously I also want to grow to be an older person in a community filled with kids who have character and who have those foundational skills. So, we're creating the future literally, but also like right now in our deep present, how are we hanging on by that last little knot in the rope? How are we encouraging each other, sparking each other, and, making it more of a joy and less of a burden, to continue with this work. So looking for those moments, that's definitely part of my
Thank you for
why
sharing
right now.
those beautiful thoughts. Melissa, what's your why?
My why is the 24 little faces I get to see every single day that are 7, 8 years old. And it's not the academics or the testing that I do. It's teaching them how to be selfless, how to do these random acts of kindness to fill their bucket as well as others. It's them coming in the room so excited to be there, wondering what we're going to learn that day, what experiences and memories we're going to have that day. It's their little faces crying, not wanting to leave me the end of the year. It's those 24 faces are my why.
Muchas gracias. Erica, what's your why?
What is my why? my why changes a lot because I am at that space, to be 100% honest, to shift from the classroom, because I have so much fun and my heart just explodes being able to share across the world all of these amazing things with teachers, creative media and mindfulness. But I also, my why at school is to help raise more mindful souls, to get mindfulness into classrooms and normalize breathing techniques and all these things. It's all about that right now. And also my why is for a selfish reason, is the laughter I get when I put these kids on this thing. I don't laugh that hard at home. And I just laugh every single day. So I go in for the laughter. But yeah, my why, I don't know if that was a why, but it's just, it just keeps feeding your soul in different ways. But it shocks me how much it's changed over the years. And now where my focus is more on teachers now as well, like Keisha.
And it's beautiful because some of our kids need that laughter and that joy.
Play. They need to play.
Because when they leave the hollowed halls of our schools and they go into that part, we don't know what's waiting for them at that part. And so that joy, that happiness, they probably only see it in that area. So that's a beautiful why right there. Thank you. Jennifer, talk to us there in Colorado.
Yeah. So, my why is connected to that intersection between the writing part of who I am and have been since I was very, very young, and the educational piece. My belief in the classroom as a way of transforming the world, which I've mentioned already, or the community in positive ways. My why for a long time was the kiddos, right? It was these funny, wonderfully bizarre teenagers who, as you guys all said already, right, made me laugh, made me think differently, sometimes came out with things that I would never have thought of before. But today I think it's even more focused on, I left the classroom in 2010. It was hard to do. It was one of the hardest things I've ever done. But being able to transform the way a teacher thinks, not just how they behave, but how they think, so that the way that their practices are sort of automatically transformed, that idea of, as you all were saying, right, the classroom where kids are active and moving and the learning is vibrant and chaotic and wonderful, messy and wonderful. I want to see that for more kids, right? So I work with teachers, I work with leaders now more and more, trying to help to create those kinds of learning spaces, the environment where all students will thrive. I'm a big fan of Ken Robinson's idea that educators should be like gardeners, right? That we can't force growth. We can create the conditions for growth, just like a gardener does. And that's what I'm trying to help to facilitate, because I really believe every child in the world deserves that kind of joyful, meaningful, purposeful education.
Beautiful. Love it. Thank you for sharing, guys. That's the kind of stuff we need to hear as we start off on Monday, another chapter, another day of learning. But before we go into the next thing, big shout out to Melissa Jones-Chun, part of the Fantastic Four family from Tulsa, Oklahoma. Thank you for being here. And I think that's Brian Carpenter from Canada, who will be on the show in a couple of weeks. And if you don't listen to his podcast, he keeps me going because he does podcast reviews, and it's tons of them. And I can't keep up with him trying to work out and listen to him. Brian, thank you for being here. Appreciate that. And Central Hicks, first-year principal from Texas, thank you for being here. And we have no special effects, no sounds, but I would like to promote a couple of books right now. I already promoted Kevin Curtis's About Dealing with Connections Before Content. I really suggest that if you have a bunch of alt-cert team members that never went through classroom observations, that don't know about building,
That's your management relationships.
You don't have, it's not that expensive, and it's how to, it's 101. And another book that I would like for you guys to think about it, you know, those special times when that cheerleading mom gets on your nerves. Or maybe that one parent pokes you about those 2 points for the GPA.
Oh.
I know some of you might know what I'm talking about. Some of you might not. Stoic philosophy in education, how you don't allow them to find your button. Superintendent Glenn Robbins from New Jersey, great book. But ladies, most importantly, today we have an awesome book here from all over the United States. 23 stories by 23 awesome educators, and never done before. Never done before. The audio version read by all of us, just for you. So if you're one of those new generations that don't like to read, put it on your download. Check it out, because these are awesome stories just for you. Take it away, Dr. Moreno.
I am so happy. When did that drop? The audio version?
A month, no, more than a month ago?
Been a month ago already?
I
About 2
don't know.
months?
Barbara will tell us, and she's gonna post it, and I'll put it, because Barbara knows
Awesome.
everything about this book. She'll tell you A, B, C, D, subchapter 55. She'll tell
Because
you
I
everything
think
about it.
I'm only on chapter 2, but guess what? I have a 24-hour flight coming up, and guess what? I can listen to it all the way across to the other side of the world.
Yes, you can.
So that'll be a good thing to download. So I need to go and find that. So thank you for sharing that, Josh, because I was waiting for it. I just didn't know it was out already. Awesome, awesome. You guys, I'm so excited. Let's go back to this book again, okay? Because I'm just so impressed with all of you. Just your stories and your why and the whole thing. So I just want people to know, having authored a book now, tell the audience how you found time to write your chapter while having a full-time job, because that's tough, right? So we're gonna start off with why don't we start off with Melissa?
I don't know. I think the words flow more because it's about yourself.
Okay.
I mean, if it wasn't about you, I wrote a children's book like a year ago. So that was a lot harder. But I think it's more personal, and it's about your experiences and your life. So I think that the words kind of flow, and it's much more meaningful. But then I'm so weird that I'm like, nobody's gonna want to read this stuff. Like, I don't know why. Barbara's way too kind. Like,
Oh, God, I gotta look at this.
so, but she's amazing, and I'm just blessed to be asked to be a part of such an amazing group of educators with amazing stories to share, and I learn from them every day. So
I'm going to make sure I read your chapter next. Okay. I'm going to hang up with this podcast, and you'll be the next one, because I'm slowly reading it. But I'm definitely gonna, because you seem like a very amazing person. And you know what? I'm just super excited that I'm going to get to read your story. And you
Hey,
know what? Sometimes it is right.
Dr. Moreno,
Hmm.
you got asked 2 questions, and you're ignoring the audience. And we tell them to ask
I
questions.
didn't even see that. Sir, I'm trying to manage a lot of
Ma'am,
things here.
you've been an administrator, and you know you got to do 15 things while eating your lunch. You're slacking now that you're retired, ma'am. You are slacking now that you're retired. Here goes
You
the
see
question.
how I got on the spot like this. What? Okay, so you're going to Africa? Yes, Melissa, I'm going to Africa. Yes, I'm going to Tanzania on February the 7th. I'm going to be teaching Maasai children in a small village 2.5 hours south of Arusha.
Wow.
I'll be teaching pre-K3 all the way to 5th grade. And I'm going in July. So if anybody here or anybody out in the audience wants to go, I go 3 times a year to teach in Tanzania. We teach 4 days, do home visits for 1 day, and then we do a 3-day safari. So come on over.
It's
And
on my
enjoy.
vision board. I want to go to Tanzania. It is.
I tell people it's so much fun because, I mean, we're going to learn culture, but we're teaching, and we're all educators, and it's so fun to be in a foreign country in their environment and teaching English to children. It's just amazing.
I want to go.
So, but my handle's there. Maybe you'll give me a little bit of time at the end, sir. But, yeah, if you follow me on Instagram or TikTok, as far as it can go. But anyways, I post a lot of videos while I'm there. And I promised Josh that our PGP podcast, when we're doing this on Sunday, when I'm down there, I will be on the podcast at 3:30 in the morning while you guys are comfortably at 6 p.m. Because I promise that I'm not going to miss the show while I'm in Tanzania. There may be an elephant that may be in the back, but, just ignore the elephant. Jennifer, let's talk about how did you write this book? I know you said you have a book already. I think you said
I have,
before.
yeah. I've actually have 2 out already in educational on educational topics: the Global Education Guidebook and the Landscape Model of Learning, and which is all about inclusion and equity in the classroom. So the trick is I don't have a full-time job. I have lots and lots of part-time contracts in Texas and Mexico and Panama and in Colombia. And that funds my writing. So my dream, of course, is that someday I could actually envision living from the writing itself and not even needing to do the consulting, although I certainly enjoy it. And I've always liked being that person who does the direct work with educators. But the dream is someday to be able to really just write. Which would be ideal. But it's been tricky, obviously. And leaving a headship was that first step toward, like, what does it look like to actually make a living, to make writing my focus, regardless of how I need to make a living.
And you know what? This is number 2 for you, right? This is book number 2.
This is the one that's coming out in August is number
Will be 3.
4. Well, it's actually
Okay.
4 if I counting this amazing book.
Yes,
So-
you get to count this one.
So then it's actually 5 because I've written some other chapters for other people as well. But in terms of fully authored by me, it'll be my 3rd that's coming out in August.
Awesome. Congratulations.
Thank
One
you.
day I'm going to have my own book. I have a little chapter, but one day. Barbara, I know your question is if I was going to share my journey to Africa online. Yes, it'll be on Instagram. And I normally do a day by day kind of recap of what happened. And then I kind of do interviews with the teachers and the kids and whatnot. It's really fun and interesting. So please follow me on Instagram at Newcomer Success and definitely document my journey there. Keisha, how about you? Look at you. She's already going in there. You'll see lots of videos already.
I'm gonna find you. It's funny. I recently used the Maasai greeting of Kasirian and Gira, right? And I was at a principal's meeting and I was sharing the whole "How are the children?" and I was using that. So I love all of that connection. So for me, I'm in a funny stage in life right now that my children are definitely becoming a little more free range. So instead of, sitting in my car for hours at soccer practice or all those things, I do find myself with a little bit of spare time I don't have a social life. I'm kind of a homebody and I do like to be home a lot. So it wasn't too difficult for me to find the time to just slowly add it up. Also, we had a lot of direction in the sense, like Barbara had a real vision, right, for the chapters and kind of like what the themes and that were. So I think picking the overall framework and structure was easier to then, as Melissa said, it's your story. So obviously you need to keep it short and poignant, but yeah, so it was easier with also having a little bit of, Barbara was always accessible and give us some great examples and we knew what she was looking for as well. So, and what,
I
so
heard
that
she's a
helped lot.
great coach because this is the 3rd roundtable, and I can't tell you how many people have said she was just inspirational. She answered all of our questions. And so I think there's a lot of first timers who actually contributed to a book in this particular book for Barbara. And so it was really nice to kind of hear that everybody kind of felt supported, right? And it's that accomplishment of saying, I have a book, it's published, I am chapter. That means something because not everybody can say that. So that is super, super excited. So I'm super happy that you had the joy of doing this and now can say that you are a published author. Erica, I'm not gonna leave the comment section without talking to you, man. My little Leo person, because I know you're a Leo.
Yes, I
You
am.
are definitely a Leo.
I am such a Leo. I know if you see my Instagram, I have no shame. It's I just play. But yeah, just like what Melissa said as well. And when it's your story, it's easy. And I'm like, a stage, I get to talk. I talk a lot. So in fact, I actually talked my story out and let it type just to see it. And it was really therapeutic too to see some of the things I did in my past and how they've led me up to be green screen gal and all the things I'm doing now. I have my very first solo keynote coming up in a couple weeks, and I'm just it's been one of these things. And but looking, Barbara helping me to look back at that. I used to own a paint and sip company when that first started. It was one of the first ones on the East Coast, and I had no idea what I was doing. And here I am at every restaurant in the mall and everywhere teaching people, and what it taught me about speaking on stage and all of that. So writing this was an honor. It was easy to write about yourself. It really is. And the hard part for me was cutting it shorter. There is one thing though. Like I do wish I was a little more vulnerable. I'm annoying my family with the fact that I'm always trying to see the positive and everything, or let's have a solution or a mindful, this whole thing. So I feel like mine was it was all the positives, and I didn't focus on what the pain was. And I was like, I had an opportunity here to heal and let it out. So it's really interesting writing about yourself, where it takes you emotionally. And by the way, Barbara was my roommate at FETC. You have to watch our TikTok video, our dance video. She'll want me to tell you that. But she is a coach 24 hours a day. She even got on the phone with my 86-year-old parents who lost their home in this last hurricane. And they're so depressed, and they had Barbara Bray. And I mean, she brought them both to tears, and good tears. And it was like, that's just who she is. We love you, Barbara. You're
Well, you know what? It sounds like there's going to be another book coming, because I think it sounds like you've enjoyed telling your story here, that you can probably have enough content to write a whole new book for yourself, right? So,
but like Melissa, I'm like, who'd want to read that? But the thing is, Barbara has right, but it is a beautiful book, and just I'm getting to know my friends better too. Just to hear people's stories and how we all stuck it out, and we're here for these kids, and it's really powerful what she did. So thank you, Barbara.
Yeah, I think Barbara did an amazing job of bringing everybody together. And you know what, when people tell their stories, that means a lot, right? Number one. And number two, it really defines who we are, right? It tells us who we are, what we're doing, and really kind of tells us our story of our why we've been doing what we've been doing. So I'm super excited. Again, I just started. I got the book just recently. And now that I'm going to be on a plane for, 24 hours, I'm going to look into that download, because I think that, I'm kind of, the lights dim and everything else in the plane. So definitely I can hear it, and it'll be amazing. So thank you so much.
All right. Hey, Dr. Harvey. Yeah. Hey, thank you for all your comments, brother. Hey, join us on the show in the future. Let me know if you're interested in being part of the panel. And yes, we love you too, Barbara. So let's get into it real quick. I want you to give a quick summary, but leave the audience wanting more about your chapter. So I want a little summary. Give them a good taste. When you go to Sam's and they give you the little taste, hey, come buy this. So give them a little taste of what you wrote about in your chapter. That way they reach out and purchase this awesome book, making sure that they are inspired by your words, your events, your memories, everything that has to do with our beautiful profession. Jennifer.
My story is about growing up with a very dark worldview, being a writer who never wrote anything with a happy ending, and discovering something better, something more joyful and more optimistic through the classroom, and the way that the intersection of my passion for writing and my connection to kids and the possibilities for how young people might become agents of change, how that all came together to build a little more optimism, a little more hope, for the future and for education.
What chapter can you be found, Miss Jennifer?
I am in chapter 13, and I agreed actually to go with the unlucky number. I actually was very thrilled to go with the unlucky number because I was raised in a Jewish household. And actually, in Judaism, 13 is a sacred, wonderful, positive, powerful number. So
And
Ah.
it's also Taylor Swift's favorite number. So, there you go.
I didn't have that connection, but awesome to hear it.
Keisha, talk to the audience about your work.
Well, your whole being a teaser, I'm not very good at that. I've already kind of said it's a very much as a like going from an absolutely never ever, I can't, I won't, you can't make me to I think as Erica shared, hindsight is a very special opportunity to look back on maybe how your life can weave together these little touch points that you didn't notice at the time, but when you're in the right place and things come together, you realize you were on that path the entire time. So I definitely went from someone on the ground kicking and screaming and saying, no, I can't, and you won't make me, to going, oh, I get it now. And it's like, I see why I'm where I should be. So again, I just encourage people to not think of their life as so linear and, like if I didn't become a teacher in my 20s, it's not possible for me. So my chapter will definitely maybe bring to mind some other touch points or entry points where people can find other things falling into place.
Thank you. And your chapter number is?
Oh gosh, I don't have a copy of my book right
Barbara
now.
will-
I don't know if anyone else, I know. It's the last chapter in the second
15.
section. That part I do know. So
All right, Barbara
thank
Bray
you
will
so
make sure
much.
she puts it out there like she did right now with Jen. All right, thank you for sharing. Melissa, talk to the audience about your chapter.
My chapter is entitled Spark. And it's just, I've been in education 25 years and teaching the same grade. And I get questions of when do you retire? And my response is, I have no idea. I don't count the years. I don't see how many more I need to retire. My spark is still like it was when I first started student teaching. I love it so much. So it's just about how to ignite your spark and all the bumps in the road that I've encountered. And I'm a firm believer in everything happens for a reason. And I'm stronger and wiser. And I laugh often and don't take really a second for granted. So. And I think it's 6.
I don't like the I think, young lady. I don't like that.
Section 1, 6.
All
6.
right.
Yes.
All right. There you go. You got a 100, a check on your paper. All right, perfect. Green screen gal, talk about your chapter, young lady.
I love that you called me young lady. Thank you. Mine's called Spreading the Magic Wherever You Go. And it's kind of my story. Like I said, it put it all together. And there's a picture in there. It's in black and white, but I am literally, I think I'm 8 or 9 years old. I'm wearing this color t-shirt. So it just seemed so meant to be. And when I looked back at that, it just kind of blew my mind. And then from there, it's journey. I wish I had talked more about my knee injury. It took me out for a couple of years, and a lot of people don't know that. I had a femoral nerve cut during my surgery. So, because of that, I learned how to paint. And so it goes into the story of my company, but it also goes into why I taught yoga and Pilates for 20 years. And then it goes into a famous kismet moment at an airport. I don't want to give too much, but I met Dr. Blaise Aguirre. He is one of the world leaders in mindfulness. He's friends with Oprah Winfrey. He's working with the singer Jewel right now. We're still in we just talked last week. So that whole story, which is amazing and totally meant to be, which led me into my mindfulness journey now and into my breathing bubble. But also I go to assisted livings with this thing. So you get a couple stories about that, how we cover the wheelchairs and walkers and have 9-year-olds bungee jumping, but I almost gave too much, but it's a really fun story of how I became Green Screen Gal, and also how powerful and magical this thing behind me can be. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay, audience out there, you heard from the actual authors. You could either read our words right here, but most importantly, if you're one of those people that gets on an airplane and flies for 72 hours to different parts of the world, you could get the audio version and hear from all of us. Not some dude with a beautiful voice. I'm not saying we have horrible voices. I'm just saying there's always that universal. Oh, Charles Williams. When you get to Charles Williams, oh my God. What is he called? The velvet voice? Something like that. Yeah. The authors are looking at me like, what? He was on episode number 2 of the Roundtable of Grow Your Why. But when you hear him talk, I felt bad recording my chapter because when he talks, But you know what? Thank you reaching out to this and to the authors for your words, your vision, and everything. A big shout out before I hand the stick over to Dr. Moreno. El Profe Sherrod Laws will be here in a couple of weeks. And next week, Frank Poland. Thank you for being here and being part of our next week's show. Thank you very much. Go, Dr. Moreno.
All righty, we're almost to the end, folks. We're almost to the end so that we can go and watch this football game that's going on. So we're almost ready. But you guys, this is a 2-part question, and I'm actually gonna start with Jennifer, so that way you can listen to what it's a 2-part question. So the first part of the question is, tell the audience about an event or a story that inspired you and solidified your passion for education. And then the second part is, are there other projects that you're involved that's outside of your current role?
Wow, it's always hard to go first. I think in terms of the event or story, I've been deeply inspired over the course of my life and career by the ideas of the man, the educator who founded the Open High School here in Colorado, and that's Arnie Langberg. His thinking about what it means to be a truly radical educator, and I did make sure I had a copy here so that I could show it to people. He has been contributing to education for decades and decades. He's now in his early 90s, and his vision of what's possible when you empower kids to create the world that ought to be that's probably the most important thing right now that's inspiring me and helping me to stay focused on the work I'm doing. In terms of other projects, it's funny, being able to say that I wear a million hats means that I don't have any projects that are outside of my role, because my role is all of those projects. But I was really deeply inspired by the work with Barbara to shift the kinds of things I'm writing about, because I've been doing a lot of professional learning types of books, and writing my chapter for Barbara's book really reignited something in me to do more creative nonfiction, more personal narrative. And so I'm going to do some different kinds of writing coming soon at some point once I have the time to do it.
Wow, that sounds amazing. And guess what? You know what? It's going to be, this is only a springboard, because I know folks that when they start writing and they start writing books, you're going to be like book number 14, right? Like Principal Caffelli has, I don't know how many books already. So, it's amazing. And the more you write, the more people are going to look at your stories, and then they're going to gravitate to the work that you do because you write good stuff. So super excited. And I'll be looking out for future books from you, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
Erica, how about you?
Well, I have had so many passions over the years. It just, and it just keeps going. But my hugest,
this is your favorite, or something that just really kind of comes across?
Well, right now it's my hashtag, my breathing bubble. During COVID, I created a template for the visual breathing bubble that people see in their Calm app or on their watches, to personalize them. So kids can put their picture of their dog or their cat or a video of themselves getting a home run or inside their bubble. So this has turned into a passion project that is starting to go global. And that is and it's brought me so many opportunities. Every time I get back to the bubbles and trying to normalize breathing, things happen. The cover of EdTech, and I'm hoping. I met a woman from Tanzania, actually, so I'm going to be talking to you, who wants to come over and teach them. And we're working with some kids in Bangladesh. And so that right now is my focus. And just getting the feedback from students is incredible. Just emails from seniors in high school who had me in 6th grade said, thank you for teaching me how to breathe and to self-regulate. And the second part of the question, what was it again?
The second part was projects outside of your current role.
Duh. Well, I think I already answered that. I am going to a lot of conferences. I'm getting some featured speakers and starting to keynote now. So that is a huge project for me. I'm also working with Tony Vincent on something very secretive.
Awesome. Soon to come.
Tony's amazing.
Yeah. Awesome. I'd love to I'm gonna offline. We're gonna have to talk about this cool thing because I love about breathing techniques and self-regulation. It's so important, and we need to learn more how to help support our kids. Melissa, how about you? Story, event.
Is this a passion project?
So this is more like an event or a story that inspired you to solidify your passion, right, to be in education.
I think the biggest inspiration I've had is when I first got on Twitter and learning from everyone, including all of the people in the panel. It's not the way it used to be. We get glimpses here and there, but when I first got on, it was amazing. You had chats, you DM'd. I mean, that's mainly how I connected with everyone and considered them a brother or sister. So I think that has been the best inspiration. And even though Twitter has gone out the door, Blue Sky's there, and I still connect through Facebook and stuff too. But I'm not sure the second part of the question. There was
anything you're doing outside of your current role? No.
This is the biggest project that I have. And this is my children's book, Abs, and it's based on my youngest daughter who has Down syndrome. And it was based on a rainbow that she used to draw when she was like 5. She's 17 now. And it's interactive. So I asked the kids, shake the book, get the extra color out. So it's all interactive, and I wrote this for any ability. So any child could feel successful and enjoy reading. And my kids in my 2nd grade class were gifted with a copy for Christmas, and they
it's a great. Where do you get the book at?
It's on Amazon. It's on Amazon.
Awesome. Definitely gonna reach out and look for that. Awesome. And then last but not least, Keisha.
I want to say, I saw he was on here early. Principal Kafele, just during COVID, those moments that we got exposure to people through virtual, because in Hawaii, it's expensive to travel. I don't get to go to as many conferences as I want. I don't get to, come to the continent and meet people in person. And, anytime he was speaking in any room, and sometimes I saw him twice in the same week, but I always was there because no matter how many times I've heard his message, it is always inspiring. And I saw him in person at the Character Strong conference in Tacoma this year. And just, his message that I am the biggest determinant of the success or failure of my students, or if you're a principal, my staff, like this whole idea of just, I know we are all very well aware. We are all cognizant of inequities and problems, and whether that's, access to education, access to transport, socioeconomic, we're very aware of all of the hindering factors. But I still really want to believe I am the biggest determinant and the biggest factor, in my classroom or in that room at my faculty meeting. And I love his message. It just really, it always, no matter, like I said, I've seen him speak. You all know he's written millions of books, and he is it all. He's instructional leader. Yes. He is inspirational leader, and it all boils down to responsibility. Like I have to take responsibility for what I can do and what I can't do. So that always just feeds my fire, no matter what phase I'm in, and no matter how I get to see him. And then in terms of passion projects, I am one of those people, I'm just kind of passionate about everything. So like I'm a member of, I'm a secretary on the board of HISTE, which is like the Hawaiian affiliate for ISTE. I love going to, so I'm going to go to ASTE conference in Alaska next month, and I'm going to be co-presenting there with my friend Hedrick Nichols, and we're going to be talking about equity and access and cultural responsiveness in different settings. And so for me, I mean, anything I think that has to do with being a human being, right, is like my passion project. That's why I love being able to be in a position working with social emotional learning and just reinforcing that across all content areas and across all grade levels, because it is my passion, and it's what's really important.
Awesome. Thank you. And it looks like you have a fan who tried to go to Hawaii, but it was just too expensive. I think I need to find some kind of a conference or something in Hawaii, just so I can go to Hawaii. I've always wanted to. I just never had the chance. I've gone to Africa, but not to Hawaii or Alaska for that matter.
You have to go. Just do it. You have to go. Best trip of my life. Keisha, I want to collab with you. I love your heart.
So in closing, ladies, real quick, if the answer is I don't know, that's okay. I don't know. We're about to get into our lightning round questions. If the answer is I don't know, that's fine. If you already have an idea, okay. But that's before the lightning round. Real quick, Erica, where are you in 5 years?
I am Green Screen Gal on.
No.
Oh.
Where are you in your life in 5 years?
Oh, where am I in my life in 5 years? I traveling in a RV and seeing all these wonderful people, sharing my gift.
Love it. Melissa, where are you in 5 years?
Second grade classroom.
Jennifer, where are you in 5?
Probably right here in Denver, maybe somewhere in Central America. Not really sure.
Right.
Just doing my thing and writing constantly.
Nice.
Keisha, where are you in 5 years?
I actually plan to leave the Department of Education and go back in the Peace Corps. I was a Peace Corps volunteer in the 90s, and I do plan to go back and serve again for a couple years. So I think that will be happening around that time in 5 years.
Awesome. Here we go, guys. Oh, hold on. Before we get into the lightning round, shout out to Dr. Edwin Garcia from New Jersey. Welcome being part of the Fantastic Four family. Dr. Moreno, quick summary of your trip. You said you wanted to say something. Go.
So I'm going back in July 7th through the 17th. I'm taking another round of educators again. If you just go back to, I'll put something on my Instagram as far as like a little flyer or something if you're interested in going. And then I'll probably go back again next February. So it looks like a February, July time frame. Maybe I'll try and find something in the fall, but yeah, 3 times a year. I'm a board member for this school in Tanzania. If you want to go to the website, it's promisevillageacademy.org. Promisevillageacademy.org is the name of the school in Tanzania. It is ran by a board here in the States. It's a 503c organization that helps sponsors and funds the school. So some of your trip can actually be tax deductible because you're donating to a nonprofit organization. So yeah, that can probably help with some of the expenses for you if you can just, kind of charge it on your taxes, I guess. So I'll be going in July again. So I leave again in 14 days. I'm taking 5 educators with me. Follow me on Instagram and on TikTok, and I'll be doing my thing in Tanzania.
All right. Thank you for sharing that. Here we go, ladies. The Échale Ganas questions. Ganas, ladies, if you know or you don't know, understand that that's a very spiritual word for us Hispanics. It doesn't matter where you're at. Honduras, Nicaragua, El Salvador, Panama, Puerto Rico, Mexico. It doesn't matter because it's a generational word. There is no equate. There is no equal word across that conveys the connection amongst us. It's generational. So I want you with your answers to inspire that educator con ganas on Monday. And it's not a dissertation. It's a lightning round. So if you go too long, I'm going to stop you. It's a lightning round. So don't get offended. I love you. Kisses, kisses, kisses. But it's a lightning round. All right, we're not giving dissertations here. So here we go. We're gonna start off with Melissa to give that voice a little rest. Here we go, Melissa. Give advice to a new teacher.
What?
Give advice to a new teacher.
Oh, take time for yourself and enjoy the ride with your kids.
Read a note, an email, a text from a teacher or student that inspired you.
Is this me again?
Yes, it's a lightning round.
I get a lot of thank yous from seniors.
All right. Send some flowers to a current educator that inspires you.
Barbara Bray, constantly, always.
Who should people follow on social media?
Barbara Bray, always, constantly.
What's one song that embodies you as a person, your spirit?
Don't Stop Believing by Journey.
What's your favorite quote?
Life is better when you're laughing.
What is your favorite cheat food or sweet?
Iced coffee.
What is your favorite TV show or book?
I loved Yellowstone. Sad that it's gone.
How can people contact you, young lady?
X is Mrs. Hayes Family. I have Instagram, but have no idea what it is because I've never on it.
It happens, right? Thank you very much. Jennifer, Colorado. Nice warm 20 degrees in Colorado. Here we go. Give advice to a
Minus
teacher.
20.
All right. So advice for a new teacher. I was given bad advice early on, which was you can't reach everybody. My good advice is you can reach everybody and you should certainly be trying.
Read a note, an email, a text from a teacher or student that inspired you.
Best card sent to me by a parent that said my daughter wouldn't stop talking about Cyrano de Bergerac at dinner tonight. Love that still. Have it somewhere in the house.
Love it. Send some flowers to a current educator that inspires you.
Oh man, 66 leaders shared their stories, many of them anonymously for this book. Every single one of them inspired me in some way.
Name one person people should follow on social media.
Oh man, there are so many good people. I'd say maybe Will Richardson. He's putting some really great stuff out there right now on LinkedIn, especially.
What's one song that embodies your spirit as a person?
Bach's Suites for Unaccompanied Cello, because my dad was a cellist his whole life. Can't play anymore, but yeah, something soul oriented there.
Love it. What's your favorite quote?
Nikki Giovanni, I'm so hip, even my errors are correct.
What's your favorite cheat food or sweet?
Chocolate, anything chocolate. The darker, the better.
Your favorite TV show or book?
A book, I'm just going to say anything Gabriel Garcia Marquez. And I'm loving The 100 Years of Solitude on Netflix. If you guys haven't hooked into that, lots of controversy because he always said he didn't ever want it put to film, but they did a beautiful job.
So why was he on the tree? Oh, I still don't get that.
Goes nuts, goes crazy, starts breaking the house down. Yeah, destroying the house. It was the only way that they could control him. Same thing that they did traditionally with people who had rabies and all sorts of things. Anybody who got out of control, tie him to a tree. Yep.
Jen, I'm sorry. I ruined the lightning round by asking that silly question because I kept seeing the episode after. Why is he still on the tree? I'm sorry, Mike. How can people reach you? Jen, how can people reach you?
People can reach me by taking a look at my writing, of course. I do want to mention that Principled Learning Strategies is my website. This was my second book. Very proud of this piece with Kapono Siati of Hawaii. Yeah, find me on Principled Learning Strategies and on LinkedIn and all that kind of stuff.
Perfect. Keisha, we talked about this before the show.
We did.
We talked about
I
this before the
remember.
show. Here we go. Give advice to a new teacher.
Keep a file of all those letters and notes that you love letters. Start from day one and you'll love it afterwards.
Read a note, an email, a text from a teacher or student that inspired you.
Okay, in my file, I have thank you for all the help you gave me. I know you only have been my teacher for a little while, but that doesn't matter. I know you are a teacher that really cares and doesn't just teach to teach, but to love to learn. And so thank you for all the things you're going to teach me. And that was from a boy, and 7th grade boys are really special. So that meant even more.
Eso, esas son ganas. Send some flowers to a current educator that inspired you.
I'll send it to Principal Baruti Kafele while we're on his topic.
Love it. One person that people should follow on social media.
Okay, you told me no repeat answers, but I'm going to repeat. TCEA, the Texas. Yeah, they share resources. I get so many ideas. I love everything they share on social media.
Thank you. What's one song that embodies your spirit as a person?
There's that song by Taylor Swift, like I Can Even Do It With a Broken Heart.
All right. What's your favorite quote?
Do small things with great love.
What's your favorite cheat food or sweet?
Any kind of ice cream, gelato.
Your favorite TV show or book?
I'll have to go with the same answer as last week, which is the travel guide to whatever country I'm planning to visit next.
How can people reach out and say, teach me?
I am on X. I am on Facebook. I am on Instagram. So I welcome any and all contact. And also, if you're at a conference and I'm at there, run up to me, tackle me.
Oh, all right. Here we go. Erica, here we go. Green screen gal, young lady, lightning round, puras ganas. Give advice to a brand new teacher.
Never take it personally. They're just puzzles, pieces. They're puzzle pieces you have to figure out.
Agreed. Read a note, an email, a text from a teacher or student that inspired you.
So many, but Caden sent me a video with a testimonial about his breathing bubble, said it's a vacation in his pocket for those frustrating times throughout his day. A vacation.
All right.
I know, right?
Send some flowers to a current educator that inspires you.
Barbara Bray, all day. I took yours, Melissa, but it's true. Barbara Bray.
Name one person people should follow on social media.
Tony Vincent. His stuff is so good. If you're not following Learning in Hand, come do it now. You will thank me. And
what is one song that embodies your spirit as a person?
Well, secretly, I've been dancing around to I'm Unstoppable lately because I feel like I'm back. I had a rough year with loss and family and stuff like that, but I am unstoppable right now.
I love that song.
I do
What's
too.
your favorite quote?
You can't stop the waves, but you can learn how to surf.
What's your favorite cheat food?
Pizza, goldfish, and anything with chocolate and Moose Tracks ice cream.
It's a first.
That was one word.
I-
They're all together.
That's fine. I've
The
never heard of
first.
that before. Thank you. Perfect. All right. What's your favorite TV show or book?
Rewatching Ted Lasso. Highly recommend.
Agreed. And how can people get a hold of you, Green Screen Gal, and all the beautiful things you do right there?
Oh, thank you. I'm Green Screen Gal on Twitter, Blue Sky, everything except for Instagram. It's Green Screen Gal 44. Also, my YouTube channel. Please follow me on my YouTube channel because if I get 30 more people, I can go live and share some fun things with you. So, yeah, I think that's Erica.
Follow Erica. Let's make her go live.
I want
'cause
to go
she has
live.
tons of
Stay with
tricks
that.
that we all need to learn from.
Green
Hey, everybody.
Screen Gal 44.
In Instagram, but
Instagram.
my YouTube is Erica Sandstrom. But I'm sure you can find it if you just throw in Green Screen Gal, not girl.
It'll come out.
Totally different search.
It'll find us.
Green Screen Gal.
Thank you, everybody, for being here with the Grow Your Why table number 3 with all the beautiful love and stories that are out there. Thank you. Panel, don't log off yet, please. May stick around after we close off the show. But everybody, thank you for being here. Please like it and share this show. This is about learning from each other, but most importantly, getting inspiration because we're about to head into tough times as testing comes up, as you know, you face whatever obstacle in life, and you've got these awesome educators and the past 30-something shows that you can pick up some nuggets and make sure that you're a better version of yourself. Because if you're a better version of yourself, your kids will be superstars and always striving for success. Join us next week when we'll have our central office support of campus show. And after that, we're going to have our discipline show. So you want to learn from people that always are into that whole discipline thing with kids, join us next week. And after that, we'll have our instructional coaches show. So come and join us the next 3 weeks. It's free PD. No excuses. You got it. You don't need a PO. You don't need to ask your assistant principal to approve it. You don't need to ask your principal to approve it. This is all free on YouTube, on X, on LinkedIn, on whatever. Insert your social media, and it's all for you because it's about us becoming the best version of ourselves. Panel, Barbara Bray, thank you for being here. Love and share and everything out there. Panel, say goodbye to everybody. Stick around.